webinar organizzato da Casa Oasi. Io sono appunto Giuseppe Marinoni, il founder con Vilma Cernikyte di Casa Oasi. Oggi il webinar tratterà i rapporti architettura e psicologia. Abbiamo con noi Irma, che poi presento, e diciamo che l'interesse di questo webinar è focalizzato appunto a come l'architettura in qualche modo possa fare star bene. E Vilma mostrerà alcuni progetti che commenterà assieme a Irma. Scusate, devo silenziare il telefono. Questo webinar si svolgerà in inglese perché Irma, che è la nostra ospite, è lituana e quindi parleremo in inglese. Irma, faccio una breve presentazione in italiano, poi traduco in inglese per lei per coinvolgerla. È laureata in psicologia, ha fatto un master in psicologia del filone jungiano e si è specializzata proprio nel rapporto tra psicologia e architettura. Inoltre partecipa anche come consulente alla creazione di alcuni progetti proprio per implementare i progetti dal punto di vista degli aspetti psicologici, in modo che i progetti possano in un certo senso corrispondere con le aspettative del committente. So Irma, I introduced you about your expertise, but you can tell us more about you. I spoke about your expertise in psychology and also your interest in collaborating with architects in order to think about the project, the interior, in order to make a home more comfortable. So now your presentation, I think, is about these issues. Welcome, Irma. And if you want to tell us about you and, of course, your presentation. And later, with Vilma, we can discuss some of our project. Vilma is going to present our project, but also two projects of two great architects. One is Alto, and one is Philip Johnson. And I think it's two different ideas in order to conceive the home. Maybe Alto is a more cozy home, and the pavilion, the glass pavilion of Sullivan, the glass pavilion is a pavilion more cool, so is a sort of New Yorkese style. So I think it's two different ideas about the coziness. Irma?
Thank you very much for inviting me and for presenting me. It was nice to hear this in Italian, so thank you. And maybe I will start with my presentation. And I called it When Your Home is Your Castle, What Makes a Place Emotionally Comfortable. So I will ask for the next slide. This is the painting of a very famous Lithuanian artist, Mikalojus Konstantinas Čiurlionis, and this painting is called Castle Fairy Tale.
We had, sorry, I interrupt.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say that we had in Milano, Palazzo Reale, his exhibition recently, a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, so some people, they know about him, but...
Okay, so good to hear. Because for me, this painting reminds childhood, because I used to just look at the book with all the paintings of him, and this one is special for me. So it connects to the title of the presentation. And what I'm going to talk about is about the understanding the concept of home through individual experiences, cultural heritage, history of the mankind, and immersive world of nature. And I would like to start with presenting the field of environmental psychology, where I find ideas, and this is the part of that topic I talk about. So environmental psychology is a scientific study of the transactions and interrelationships between people and their physical surroundings, including built and natural environments. So the research of this field looks how any kind of surrounding, what kind of impact it has on our behavior, emotions, and also thinking. So we'll have a little bit of this. And then, as I heard Giuseppe mentioned, I am studying analytical psychology that was founded by Carl Gustav Jung. And you may have heard some concepts like collective unconscious and archetypes and symbols. So these concepts are important for analytical psychology. And so collective unconscious, or in other words, objective psyche, holds the ancestral memories or archetypes, which are represented by universal themes in various cultures and expressed through literature, art, and dreams. So symbols. So that symbolic world is important here. And in the next slide, Vilma, if you could show it, you can see a Bollingen Tower that was built by Jung. And as I know, architects and designers say that this is not something architecturally beautiful, but why I'm showing this slide, this picture, is because when Jung was building this tower, he tells in his book, Memories, Dreams, Reflections, that he just wanted to build something that is important in the concrete moment for him. And only afterwards, he found out that all the pieces together had a meaningful form of his psychic wholeness. So this building became like a representation of his inner world. And this is very interesting for me about how the place can become a representation of something very deep inside us. And what Jung also said about this tower is that the beginning, it was like a maternal womb or maternal figure. We can see to the concept of home as also very much connected with mother archetype, motherness. And in the next slide, it's just the illustration of one of the main aspects of mother archetype that is called containment. So it could be explained as richness of physical intimacy, also safety, and the reflection of needs and emotions. So here you can see a photo with a child in mother's hands. So this is about the containment. Of course, not only mother can contain a child, father or foster parents, anyone who takes care of a child. But how it is important for us so that home can also become as a place of containment. And especially if we have in our surroundings something that reminds us about the places that were very important in childhood, where we felt safe, where people nurtured us. And so I have seminars, and in those seminars, we often explore those places of importance in childhood and can then find ways how to repeat something, to let live in those environments that are important today. And about physical intimacy, when you think about this, what is important is that all 5 senses that we have are participating when we are also in the environment, and not only sight, as it's quite common that when we talk about interior, creating places, the sight is very important when we see how places look like. But here the thought is that, and the meaning is that all the senses are important. What we hear and touch and smell and taste, and maybe those senses that are closer to our body can be even more important for feeling comfortable in a place. And so this is about individual experience and also about our innate needs. And so to go further on, again with another slide, and within the field of environmental psychology, so I want to present a little bit the Savannah Hypothesis, which says that we have an innate preference for the kinds of settings that would have surrounded the East African founder population, from which all human beings descended 70,000 years ago. That it's just an example of the place where our ancestors, our ancestors descended from. And this theory says that this surrounding is still somehow important for us. And that the places that they have some features of this surrounding can be comfortable for us today also. So we can discuss this a bit later when we'll look through the projects. And this hypothesis also says that the world in which each of us live is social, culturally constructed, and that psyche and culture are very interconnected, very much interconnected. And maybe one aspect that is connected with this Savannah theory is a prospect and refuge theory, saying that we are attracted to environments that give us shelter or refuge and provide open view or prospect, so where we can feel safe, but also we can see the surrounding. And it says that savanna-like landscape consisting of low shrubs and clumps of trees divided by open spaces offers an attractive combination of prospect and refuge symbolism. So this is one of the aspects that could be connected with this Savannah theory. And then we can talk about nature, about the importance of nature for our innate needs. And we know that scenes of nature have a healing effect. And one aspect that might be connected with this healing effect of the sight of nature are natural fractals. And we can go to the next slide. This is an example of a natural fractal. So it's a plant fern. And then fractal is the shape that is repeated again and again in different scales. So as you see, the whole leaf is of the same shape as the smaller ones, and again as the smaller ones. So we have quite many examples in nature of these natural fractals. In another slide, you can see a shell that also has the same repeating issues. And in the next slide again, so these are just several examples of natural fractals. So maybe we can take this aspect somehow from nature and include into our homes, and somehow it can create also healing and soothing environments. And one more aspect I want to touch, and then I'll finish with it. So about the cultural heritage and symbol and color. So again, the next slide shows us the cave painting from 30,000 years ago. And we know that color and aesthetics and also symbolics is very much important for humans from the very, very long ago. And now what we also have every country, every culture has its heritage, it has its mythology. And so this is a part that is also can be very important when creating home. And some Jungians say that when we don't know or don't have a connection with our history, with our heritage, with the mythology, so maybe it's difficult to feel at home in a broader sense. And for Lithuania, we have a history of cultural trauma with occupation and exiles. So it is very important to recreate the narrative of our history and also culture. So at least in Lithuania, this issue is really important. So that's it's what I wanted to present you and tell you.
Thank you, Irma. Thank you for a very interesting presentation. Now I have to change the presentation, 1 second. And yes, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So now, after your presentation, I'm gonna show you what Giuseppe told, like case studies, 2 projects about what we have selected from the history of architecture, contemporary history, modern history. 2 projects that one is for us is more like an example of a cozy and intimate living, and another is more let's say a different type of coziness. First example here is Alto Villa. I had a possibility to visit it in Helsinki, so it's an example that I really felt it, and so I can really show you the feeling I had. It's functional house. It was built for a family and also for an architect as a studio house. And inside it has 2 separate parts, one public and one private, which is separated by sliding doors, wooden sliding doors. And inside we can see here is a studio and a part of a living room. And maybe those examples doesn't show much, but the materials mostly used are like wooden, like birch and oak wood, which makes a cozy feeling. and a lot of also leather, textile, and metal. And also there are 4 fireplaces from the bricks. Another thing that architect used a lot in this house are the plants, which you were talking about, Irma, in your presentation, that it's very important to connect yourself with the landscape. So the architect was trying to connect a garden outside with inside through the plants. And there are, in the living room, you cannot see here, but there are big windows.
And Vilma, I can't see the picture itself. I can see case studies, but not
Changing now?
no.
Oh, thank you that you told me, because if we're not seeing pictures, then it's 1 second. I will try again to share it. Can you see now?
Not yet.
Not yet. What happened? Why I cannot share? Sorry about this technical problems here, but I'm sharing it. Is it working?
Yes, now it's working.
Okay, perfect. But it's not going ahead. Yes. Okay, so did you see this picture before?
No.
Okay, so this is Alto Villa, and it's as I said, it's a functional building. Here you can see also the windows that are big windows, so they are connecting inside and outside, and as I said, through the house plans to create continuity between the natural environment and built environment inside. And here's the interiors. The windows living room has, it's directly to the back garden. And so, as I said, the material, the textiles, the wooden surfaces creates a feeling of coziness and intimate living. And you want to add something, Irma, here to this project? What do you think about this example?
About connecting inside and outside and nature, you also already mentioned this is the direct connection with natural world. Of course, it sounds cozy and important, and with real plants inside. What I can see a bit of it also about the partial coverage and partial, you can see those stairs, and some places where you can see, like, get a hint of some part of the building, but not the whole part. So, and we could connect this with our innate interest for exploring places. And as environmental psychologists say, so the places where we can get a glimpse and then, but not the whole view, these are the ones we feel good, even if we don't think about this, even if we don't, like, we don't think that, okay, this place for me is interesting because I see a part and I don't see a part, but it's not like reflected. But we have an innate need for exploring places. That's why it can be something that connects us to the place. So maybe one thing. And also about the simple and recognizable forms, like shape forms, or I don't know, those ornaments that are quite easy for recognizable for us. So we also could think about the Savannah Theory, where we can see everything from far away, and so it's a scenery that is very much recognizable, and then it gives safety. So maybe we can see this aspect here also.
Yeah, in fact, when I went to visit this house, it was very curious because each place you went to see, it was opening like a different perspective from each corner. So yeah, this way, as you said, it makes more how to say, different perspectives. So it's a very good feeling. And here is another example. As I said, it's the glass house by Philip Johnson. Philip Johnson was like they were saying, like 3 double letters. He was witty, wealthy, and very well connected. So he was managing to have this kind of projects, and this project is a part of a big landscape project. And it's actually it was built in 49 completed, but the land was bought in 46. And the project we saw before, it was in completed in 36. So there are 10 years of difference. And why we are showing this example is because it's like an observation of the landscape, because all your house is like without the barriers already in the landscape. So all the house has plan livre in French. I mean, there are no like no walls, and everything is free. So only the part where is the bathroom, it's inside in the middle, you can see it, and all the rest is free. So it's like kind of like observatory for the landscape around. So you are part of a landscape, but you are seeing a landscape, and it's a different kind of coziness comparing to the Alvaro Alto house. Here is just a detail to see the bedroom in the nature.
This is a reminder. Give the water to plants.
Do you want something to add to this?
Give the water to plants.
I'm thinking about this refuge and prospect theory, that we feel safe and comfortable in places where we can have refuge, but also see the prospect. So we see very much of the prospect here, like the surrounding, but it will be really interesting to get inside and try to feel how it looks, if there is any feeling of refuge, or if it's only like the feeling that everyone can see me and I can't hide. And of course, now we don't have, I don't know, some dangers maybe all around as our ancestors did, but still it's something innate that we need refuge. So maybe for me, it would be a question, how would we feel there?
Now I'm gonna show you, thank you, Irma, and now I'm gonna show you also our projects, but just very quickly to discuss how do you feel in this kind of environment from your perspective, Irma. So here is a very tiny little how to say mobile villa that you can move it in different environment, a different garden. So it's very connected with the landscape, just to live like it's a mobile hotel, let's say, to live in a different environment. So here you see inside, and so it's not a home, but it's a home for a short time of your life. I mean, for a few days or a week, you spend your vacations. So this type of coziness, when you are also like, there is also the spa outside, you can see there.
Yes,
the bath. And here is very small environment. It's only 24 square meters, and it has everything as a big villa would have, because it has a bedroom, a living room, a very comfortable shower, and a spa outside. So this is a project that we did, and we created this coziness for vacation. And do you want to say something about this project?
About the shelter, about the bed, but the bed is covered with this curtain, we might call. So it gives a shelter, refuge feeling, and also connection with nature. And I was thinking also about the warm colors. The walls are painted warm colors. So if we come back to the concept of Savannah Theory, so the colors there are warm. And as I was reading about the colors in the field of research in environmental psychology, so it's very like worldwide common to feel better, more comfortable, surrounded by warm colors. And warm colors also has an association to fireplaces. So, and fire is something that gives warmth and safety, and also food, and brings people together. Especially if, again, we look into the very beginning of humanity. So the gathering around the fireplace was something very, very big and important, and comfortable and safe. And actually nowadays also, I don't know if we have anything like saying in Italy, in Lithuanian, we have this Namų. It's like the fireplace of home. It's like it's also sorry, the symbolic of home itself, of home feeling.
Yes, there is a word now I cannot remember. I see there are Italians connected because they could write maybe. Il focolaio. I think there is this word. Maybe Giuseppe can help me. No, Giuseppe is not there.
Yes, focolaio. Yes, focolaio is an idea of warm. Is a metaphoric way to intend to be nice in the home. Yes, focolare. But also in America, Rob Venturi, but also Wright, put in the center of the villa the focolare, the fireplace. So yes, the same way to intend the coziness.
Giuseppe, maybe we could ask if there are some questions about like Lithuanian coziness or something that people could ask Irma. If not, we can proceed with projects.
Could you repeat, because there is a bad connection?
Oh, you couldn't hear me. No, I was saying that maybe there are some questions that we would ask Irma about Lithuanian coziness, or like the difference between Italian and Lithuanian. I think it could be interesting.
Yes, Vilma, I would like to know what you think about these two different concepts of coolness, because of coziness, because I think that the North Europe, the coziness is more related to the warm material, like woods, like concrete, but also texture of material. And I think that the coziness could be also related to the more modern material. What do you think about that? Because I think that also the glass house by Philip Johnson is a cozy house. Depends, of course, about the individual. Like a human being can perceive one thing or another. But what do you think about your expertise about these two differences, means of intended coziness?
Mm. Of course, individual experience is very much important. I was also telling, and I believe that really one person can feel very comfortable and cozy in one place, and another one cannot. Maybe we have some universal aspects, and we can search for them, as Refuge and Prospect theory tells. But some things are really very individual and also connected to culture and cultural experience. With this glass house, for me, like when I look at it, it really looks cozy and nice and connected with nature so much. But still, for me, the question is that I would like to go inside and see for myself how I feel, because and maybe sometimes it's even impossible to get the feeling if a place is cozy for me or not, if it's just seeing from outside or in the picture. And during the seminars, I also remember people sharing that they just come to the place and just have the feeling of it, and they know if it's for them or not. And maybe many things we experience is that our body remembers something, maybe from early childhood, or maybe our body knows some instincts that are important. And so this gut feeling, we can call it, when we come to the place and just there is a gut feeling that it's for me, or maybe the gut feeling says that, oh no, I don't want to be in this place. So maybe quite important part is about this experience when you immerse into the space and then can get a sense.
We are running out of time.
We think the time is finished.
Yeah, I see that people didn't have any more questions. So
okay, we are any questions?
No, because we have less than a minute to that. So
okay, so maybe we can meet the next webinar. We think the next webinar is the next Wednesday.
About meditation place at home.
Is about, Vilma, can you tell us something about the next webinar?
The meditation place at home.
Oh, okay, nice, very nice. So you can see the next time.
Thank you, Irma.
Thank you, Vilma. Thank you, Irma.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And thank you at all for our guests.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.